Just a quick rundown on how to draw a frame, or one way of drawing a quadcopter frame, and how to actually use QCAD. So I've opened it up and I've got an untitled one which we should save as, but you know how to do all that stuff, so you call it your quadcopter name. Let's say we want to draw a 135mm frame for 1104 motors or 1105. Now you zoom in and out using your mouse wheel. I usually set it up so that we've got 0 to 200 here and 0 to 200 across the top, so our frame will fit in this little area here, and I'll use this crosshair here as the center of the frame. When the drawing's finished I can move the whole frame down here if I need to. This red crosshair here is basically the origin, where everything starts from 0, increasing X this way and increasing Y. Okay, to start with, I usually start with a motor mount. So I'm going to start with a motor mount on this crosshair. We can see on this scale each dot is 1mm. Well, one of whatever units we're using. This file I presume would be sent to a place that works in metric, so they'll be asking for a metric file, so we'll do it in millimeters. Okay, so let's get started. First thing we want is 4 holes to bolt the motor to. I'm going to start with a vertical arm, and then I'll mirror image that arm around the 4 corners of the frame. So we'll draw an arm first. We start with 4 mounting holes. So to draw a circle, over here is our tools. I want to draw a circle. I click on the circle. Now this is asking me how do you want to specify this circle. Now I want to specify the center of the circle and specify the diameter, so I click on that. Up on the very top right here we've got the diameter. I want a 2mm diameter circle for the M2 bolts. Now here's our thing here. Okay, so this being 1104 motor, the spacing is at 9mm apart, so that's 4.5, so that's 4mm and that's 5mm from, say we call this the center, 4.5, so zoom in here and we go to 4.5mm. Okay, and we can do the same here if we want. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. It's going to be somewhere around here, about there. Okay, so let's just double check that. So this button up here on the top left, back button, takes us back to our tools, back to start. Now this is a ruler. We want to measure, and we're not measuring area. These are for measuring area. This is for measuring distances, various ways. If you hover over one, it'll tell you what it's doing. Okay, and it'll also show, see how it says here, distance to entity in. That means you can just press I and N on your keyboard and it'll take you straight to that function, and you don't have to use these tool buttons at all. I'll use them so that you know where they are if you need them. Okay, so I've got 9mm between those two, so that's fine. Now I need 2 more holes up and down. I can either draw new ones, or I can show you a technique that we'll use later, so I might as well do it now. I'm going to select these two. To select something, see how when I hover the mouse near that circle it goes darker. That means if I left click it will become selected. You have to select an item or an object to be able to move it or do something with it, or copy it or rotate it. Now I want to select both these and rotate them 90 degrees and put them back up here, so we've got 4 motor holes. Now I can select it by dragging, left click and drag. I can select them both. Is one method. Now I want to do something with these two. I want to modify, they call it modification tools. So we go to modification tools and I want to rotate these. Now I could type RO into the keyboard, or I can do it the slow away here. Rotate is used a lot, so need to get a handle on it. It's asking me how do I want to, what axis do I, or what point do I want to rotate these two selected items, and I'm going to select here. So we rotate them around there. Now the angle is 90 degrees counterclockwise for a positive angle, and I want to keep the original, not delete the original. Okay, I'll show you what happens. So we've kept the original and we've got the new rotated. So now we've got actually the holes for the motor. Now I need another circle, so we go back on the toolbar, back, want a circle, and we want a circle of diameter around 4, say 4 mil. I drop that in the middle. I drop that in the middle by left clicking. Now this will keep dropping circles everywhere as I left click. To get out of this mode, you right click and it'll kill that mode. I can get rid of those two circles by pushing the back buttons up here. Undo, sorry. So if you get into any drawing mode, you can usually right click, not here, you can unselect with a left click. I select with a left click, unselect with a left click. If I'm in a mode like a circle, to get out of that mode, so just to go back to normal drawing or whatever you want to do, you have to right click and then you're free of it. If I wanted to change that center hole, the property editor here, I could make it whatever size I want, say 3.8, and then just click or enter and it'll just change that circle. It'll give you the coordinates of the center point, and you can change them and it'll move the circle. You can do that with a line or anything. Okay, so I just moved it 10 to the left. Okay, so I can undo that and put it back. There's our motor base. Now you can see that the arm would be at 45 degrees, which is correct, but I want to draw the arm, and I want to draw the arm vertical so that I can get it symmetrical. It's easier to draw vertical, so I select all that and we rotate again. So we go to our modification tools, rotate button. Now the axis I want to rotate it around is right in the middle, so I click there and I want to do 45 degrees. Click OK, and I made a mistake there in that I should have deleted the original, so we go back and we do it again. Rotate 45, but we delete the original, otherwise it gets cluttered. Okay, now what width are we going to make the arms? Let's say 8 mil wide for the arms, 8 and 3 mil thick. Go to the back button because I want to draw a line. You can do arcs, circles, ellipses, squiggly lines, spline tools it's called. Text, if you want to put a text box. I don't know what these do yet. That's the modification. That's to create a block. I don't do that much, but you can. I'll show you how that works now, otherwise I'll forget. And it's probably easier when you're starting to make blocks. We want to make this as one entity instead of 5 different things so that we can move it around later. So we create block now. The next click that I do now is where we handle this block. How do we grab it and move it? I want it to be in the center, so I'm going to do that, and it's going to be called block 1, or I could call it engine mount or whatever I want, and go OK. So that is now one entity, and I can drag that around, okay, and drop it wherever I want, or I can spin it, oops, left click to drop it, whatever we like. So it just makes manipulation of groups of elements a lot easier. Now we can undo that by selecting it, modify, explode. Okay, and we're back to where we started. Now it's all individual bits. Doing block selections or making into a block like that is good also for making sure that none of the elements become disorientated or out of spec with the others, like moved or something. Okay, now we're going to draw some arm sides. This is a line tool, and it's asking me how do I want to draw this line. Is it a line from 2 points? Yes it is. So we're going to make it 8mm wide, so we say start here, and I'm starting at the top and working down. Now I did my first click to start it and a second click, and now I've got this line hanging off here. You have to get rid of that by right clicking. Okay, now I can do another line. So a left mouse click to start and a left mouse click to finish and a right click. Now I'm still in line drawing mode, so it assumes I want to keep drawing until I press the right mouse button. So we click the right mouse button and we're out of there. Now the reason I started these lines from the top and down is so that I can change the length of them later, and this end will stay here and this end will extend. If I'd started at the bottom, when I try to make the arm longer, this end will shoot up. I'll show you. Total length is 20. Say we decide later we want it 30, okay? I'll do that and you'll see the extra length comes out the bottom instead of the top. So let's undo that. And also gives you the start and end points, so you can also manipulate a line by just typing in different values here, and your length obviously, and your angle. That's 270 from here, from there's 0, so that's 90, 180, 270. Okay, I haven't got a timer going, so I've got no idea how long this is taking, but anyway, I don't want it to drag out, but I've got to go over the basics, I suppose. So next I want to put something around here, so this is where I use the spline tool. There's only one available, and I'm just going to draw half of it because that's easier than doing the whole lot. So I'm just putting a few random dots around here, not too many. The less you can use and get away with, the better. But now to manipulate that line, I select it, and then I can drag these little blue boxes around to put it wherever I want to, and it sort of develops curves like that. So to move one of these boxes, I hover over till I get that white outline on it, then I left click and drag. Once I've got a handle on it, I can let go of the mouse and just put it wherever I want to put it with another left mouse click. Now I've got no idea what's going on here with the motor, so it'd be nice to have an outline of the motor so we know how big to make this and what shape and where we're going. So over here at the top right hand side we can add a layer, so we just hit that plus button and we have a layer, and I'm going to call it motor, and I'll set the colour to dark yellow. Okay, now if I highlight motor, I'll be on the motor layer. I can turn the layer on and off with that I button. If I want to draw here on the 0 layer, which is the layer that's used to cut the frame, click on there. So I want to draw a motor, so oops, what did I do? Okay, there we go back. We want to draw a circle. I think the 1104 is 14mm diameter, so I'm going to drop that on there and right click to get out of that. Now we can turn that motor on and off. You can have different layers to help with the drawing. So we want at least 2mm past the motor and something that's roughly round, and we need a bit of meat out here. I want to move this line down, both these lines down. So how to move a line, how to modify a line: if you hover over the little blue end and grab hold of it, you can move it around wherever you want, change the length. Or the other way is you anywhere on it, you hit the left button and move. Now I've got the whole line intact with its original length, and we'll just bring it down to say here. And we'll do the same for this. Okay. So this will just give a much better taper. I want to that around there is not. I've lost the selection. So I'm gonna hide the motor. I want a bit of meat around through here because this is a high stressed area when you crash on the tip. So something like that, say. So now we do a mirror image. So we go back, modification tools, mirror. Or you can type MI on the keyboard now. It's asking me for a line, which is the mirror, where the axis for the mirror. So I'm going to, you can see how that works, perhaps. I want it mirrored vertically, so we do that and we keep the original. So now we've got our, if you didn't like that shape, you would just delete the right hand side, modify the left, or you can modify them together. If I hold the shift button down on the keyboard and right click this, I can have them both selected at the same time. So if I make changes to one side, I can make changes to the other side. If there's going to be lots of changes, I'll just change one side and mirror image it over to the other side. So let's say we're happy with that then. So we select it and rotate. It doesn't really matter at this stage where we rotate it, but I'll use that, and I want to go 45 and I want to delete the original. So there we have it. Now I want to move it. Oh, I forgot something. Let's undo that. I forgot. Now let's assume that this is going to be the center of the quad, and we want a 135mm quad, and half of 135 is 67.5. So this is how we set the diagonal measurement, 67.5. So I want to move this. It's a bit hard to explain, I'll show you and then you'll probably understand. Now see how none of these buttons are coming up on the left hand side? That's because nothing is selected, so I have to select that. Then these buttons come alive. I want to move this, so I'm just going to move it. And I'm going to grab it by the center hole here because this is where I want to go 67.5 millimeters from what's going to be the center of the frame. So 10, 20, 30, no, I'm not going to make it. That'll be 7, that'll be 70, so a bit under there. Here's our 67, so 67.5 is going to be around here, and as we scroll in we get more finer resolution. So we want to delete the original and go OK. Now I've made a mistake here. I'm trying to draw on the 0 layer, but I've got the motor layer set up, so I don't know what's going on there. Normally this would then become motor. We've lost our motor. Oh, we've got a little, there it is there. If we turn on the 0 layer, that's there. Okay, no worries. I can't select that. Why is that? Yes, I can. Well, I'll just move that out of the road for a while. We'll grab it later. Sorry for that. Now, this is the center of our frame, right in the middle where this red dot is, because that's the last place I was doing a movement from, here to here, 67.5. Now I'll show you why I did this. I select this and I rotate it 45 degrees around the center of where the quad's center is going to be. We delete the original and we go 45. Okay, so I've now got one arm. That's the center of the quad where my cursor is. Now I'm just going to do a rotate. I'm going to rotate around the center of the quad, and it's going to be 90 degrees, and we want to keep the original. Keep original. Okay, let's do it again. Rotate around the center, 90 degrees, keep original. And once more. Okay, so now that's the basic layout of the quad. This button up here, basically if you're miles away, you get lost, just click on that and it'll bring it up full size. So let's check out work here. Ruler, point to point measurement. Now to get this to go inside that end shaft circle, you have to zoom in sufficiently, otherwise it wants to pick up on all other objects. So there's our 135mm. And we can be doubly sure of it because it's all rotated. This program, like probably most AutoCAD programs, is extremely accurate. If you rotate and mirror image, it just comes out $1,000,000 every time. I like it. So now if we're getting an idea, I usually just work on one arm and one corner, so I would then join this up to the center here and join this up down to here, and then mirror image or rotate. Mirror image is good if you're not symmetrical. If it's completely symmetrical, you can rotate. So I just do 1/4 and mirror image that to that, and then mirror image this quarter and that quarter down to the bottom. So basically all you're doing is drawing 1/4 of the frame. Now you can make these longer if we're a bit far out, make that 30. And that's probably all for this tutorial, I think. I've shown you the squiggly lines, so I might what I'll probably usually end up doing is see how I'm on the wrong layer. This is a good time to do this. Just tidy this up a bit. Now, I've drawn that on the motor layer. I wanted it on the 0 layer, so all we have to do is click on it, select it, and in here layer, it shows I'm on the motor layer. I want to go to the 0 layer. Okay, now it's been put on the correct layer. Now for this bit you might want, I don't know, you might want a different shape perhaps, or a special shape for your battery or something, battery strap to go. So what I'd do there, say I was happy with that, which I doubt I would, but anyway, I can select all that and delete. Hit the delete button, select that, delete, select that, and go mirror image by typing MI. I just typed MI, this is a quicker way. Keep original, okay. Now I can just select the whole lot again, type MI. Choose our line to do the mirror image. Now notice down underneath we haven't got a proper representation of what we're mirror imaging. Don't worry about that, just do it and it'll appear. And if you don't like what you just did, you can hit the undo button. So there's our quad. If you wanted to put some holes in for your flight controller, 3mm holes, and say it's a Pico, that's going to be nice and easy because they're on 20mm apart. And Bob's your uncle. You save it. You should be saving all the time. You'll soon do that if you lose some stuff. And if you're going to do radical changes, you can save it as something else and call it 1A, 1B, 1C. I would save that as I don't even know where I am here with this computer. I don't normally use this, but we'll call it 135, no, 135 millimeter, 1104, 1A. Save. I'll see if I can find it later. And of course you can put more layers on it, and you can put 4 motors on it. You can draw in flight controllers, you can draw, I usually put in prop circles so you can get an idea of what the props are doing. And say green, so say we want to know what, so I'm going to be drawing on the prop layer and I want to say a 3-inch prop, say 75, 76 mil. I can just drop that on there. See what it's going to look like. There's some faster scrolling tricks too by using your mouse wheel, and the shift or control button will give you, just try it and you'll see what it does. It's very useful. And there's our quad. I hope this is helpful. Now the final thing is, if you were going to use this to send it to a machine shop to get a CNC place to get it made, they only want one layer. They don't want to be confused by different layers. They don't know what you want cut, so make it easy, and they will reject it if there's more than one layer usually. So what I do is I save it as that, and I call it an SL. I put SL after it just to say single layer. Okay, so now this is going to be the single layer, and I think the idea of this program is you can just hit the minus button to delete the layers, but I've had trouble with that. So what I do is I just highlight the layer I've got, zoom out so I make sure I've got everything. I actually delete everything. Now I can delete the props layer. No, I can't. Why not? Why can't? Oh, because see, I've hit that padlock which locks the layer. So for this purpose I should lock the layer 0, which is the actual quad, and we don't want the props locked, so I should be able to delete it. Oh, it's locked when it's grayed out, is it? Oh, I don't know. There we go, I've got my button up. So yeah, grey it out. I'm having a bit of trouble here. I haven't used this program on this computer before. So where's our motor? Why can't I see a motor? Oh, there it is there. So let's just hide our layer that we want. We delete that little motor. Now we should be able to delete the... So now we've just got the quad on layer 0. It's locked, so unlock it. That's it. That's the file we send away. That tells the machine where to draw and what to drill and the sizes. Okay. Now you can see that's a bit rough around the sides there. That needs tidying up. It's a good idea to get your before you send the file away, or even as you're drawing, make sure all your lines are actually touching. You select one and you can see if they're exactly joined or not. You'll see 2 discs if they're not directly in line, and you can see that there's a bit of a slight few degrees angle there. I could square that up nicely too. And as a final sanity check, and then I'll be gone, is just get your ruler out and measure to various points. Make 65.6, 65.6, 65.6. Let's check. See how it selects not the middle of the circle. You have to zoom in to get the middle of the circle, but we got 12.642 all around, so those holes are good. That's it, save it. You send that file off and you get your frame made. Okay, catch you later. Bye.